Hello and welcome to our 6th episode of Your Money Life Coach on eRadio with me, Barbara Mandel. This is your weekly Wednesday inspiration to act and manage your money better. 2021 did not start as most of us planned, much like 2020. We are back into stricter levels of lockdown and we've seen big increases in the fuel price. What's to come in the rest of 2021 is not much better. Although the Reserve Bank kept interest rates at all-time lows, there are some bad news in the outlook of 2021. We are likely to see an increase in the taxes when the Finance Minister proposes the national budget at the end of February. And as the world eases their lockdown restrictions, there will be increases in the demand for oil and thus in the fuel price. Unemployment will continue to rise as the effect of the pandemic continues to put pressure on businesses. Why am I starting with this seemingly bleak picture today? The simple reason is to emphasize the importance of the information I'm about to share with you. 2021 is the ideal time to work hard at repaying your debt before interest rates are likely to rise again. Debt is ridiculously cheap right now, and banks are flooding people with offers of consolidation loans, emphasizing how much they can save every month. The fact of the matter is that by consolidating your debt, you are not likely to save. Debt consolidation takes all of your current debts and then combines it into one repayment. The problem with debt consolidation is that most of the debts currently outstanding is that you have started to repay some of the capital of the original amount that you borrowed. When you take out debt, initially most of what you're paying back is interest and fees. The longer you have your debt, the more repayment goes towards the capital portion. When you consolidate your debt, it might be at a lower rate of interest. However, you are now taking debt that you had for 3 years already and repaying most of the capital and repaying it over 5 years, starting all over with the interest payments again. Although you will be paying a lower interest rate, the rand amount of interest that you are repaying over the period is more. When we look at debt repayments, it's often a grudge that we have. When we took out the loan, we were all excited about the idea at that point. And a few years down the line, we often forgot what the initial purpose of the loan was. When there is an offer to reduce this payment of this grudge we are tempted to do this. The problem is it becomes a habit, and every 3 years, when you've used more debt than you planned on doing, you consolidate your debt again and you're back into the spiral a few years later, thus remaining in debt for a much longer period than you initially anticipated. So how do you plan to reduce your debt in 2021? Firstly, you need to plan your spending better. This will allow you to regain control of your finances. By planning and controlling your spending, you can look at ways to reduce your expenses and repay bigger portions of your debt. Secondly, make sure that you have an emergency fund. The rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of your expenses in a separate fund. Once you've planned your spending and discovered where you can save, start saving first in an emergency plan. An emergency can lead you right back into debt. Remember that every time you sign up for a new loan contract, you pay an initiation fee. If you have an emergency fund, especially in an interest-bearing account, you can use some of the interest that's generating once you have reached the goal amount of your emergency fund to repay some of the debt, thus making your money work for you and doing the smart thing. Thirdly, control the debt available to you. As we discussed previously, impulse decisions form a big part of our financial downfall. By reducing the credit available to you, you are removing the temptation of spending on things you don't need. Fourthly, add additional payments to the newest debt first. I know, traditionally people would have recommended that you pay the smaller debt first, and if you're someone that thrives on victories, that is indeed something to consider. The smart thing to do, however, is to reduce the amount of interest that you pay so that you can then repay off the capital sooner. Because there are so many forms of debt, not every piece of advice will work for your situation. Reach out to finance professionals like myself to help you craft the optimal debt repayment plan for your needs. Lastly, I want to discuss the insurance that you pay on your debt. Most of the unsecured debt, such as personal loans, comes with credit life insurance. If you have been retrenched, been diagnosed with an illness, or a disability, you might qualify for a claim on your credit life insurance. Ask the credit provider to send you the forms and your contract to see if you could possibly qualify for a claim. Most people forget about this insurance, and it could be the saving grace in their hour of need. This will not go against not paying your credit, and it could just help you survive those few months that you are without an income. That's it for me today. Be sure to tune in next week Wednesday at 3:20 right here on eRadio, where we'll be discussing different types of life insurance. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, Your Money Life Coach, for more tips on how to manage your money better. Alternatively, you can visit our website, www.yourmoneylifecoach.co.za. Remember, if you found this episode useful and you think that friends and family can benefit from it, please visit the eRadio website, as there is a podcast of this available for you to share with them. I thank you once again for listening, and I look forward to chatting to you next week. Have a blessed week.